Hello and welcome to another of my pipe smoking videos. Today my lovely girlfriend, the lovely Julia,
Hello.
is with me. Hello Julia.
Hello.
We're sitting by the fire and we've got some hot chocolate on because it's cold, it's miserable down here on the south coast where we live. Just grey clouds. We went for a walk, didn't we? Mm-hmm. And it was a bit chilly and I said to Julia, you know what, we just have to light the fire and have some hot chocolate.
Indeed. Very good idea. Very good idea indeed.
So cheers to you lot. We're also obviously going to smoke some pipes, or a pipe each. Now, I was very kindly given a number of pipes by a viewer, Andy. Thank you so much, Andy. What a treat. And some other objects which we're going to show you in a minute. And so today I'm smoking a meerschaum that Andy pulled out of a box of pipes that he thought would be appropriate for me. And here it is. I'll put a picture up of it. And again, this pipe must be from the 1970s, something like that. It has a little P on it, which makes me suspicious that it's a Parker.
The letter P, not a vegetable.
Not a vegetable, no, no vegetable. I'm smoking peas and broad beans. That would be quite funny. So it's a lovely pipe. I like it very much, and I have actually smoked it once or twice already. But I wanted to smoke it with us. And Julia,
very intriguing pipe, isn't it?
What are you going to be smoking?
Well, I'm going to be smoking this lovely little meerschaum, which is new to me. I've smoked it a couple of times. Got it for my birthday.
You did?
A certain lovely fella.
A lovely fella. I wonder who that could be.
Ah, yeah. Well, there's only one.
Oh yes.
But I was also given from the same lovely viewer, Andy.
Yes.
Thank you so much. This little one. No point holding up. Picture will be done.
Yes, I'll do a picture. So it's like a little nose warmer, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a little Native American with the headdress and everything. But it's so lovely, so tiny, and Italian briar wood, I think.
Yes, it's so tiny to read what it says in writing, and I wrote it down just so that Julia knew. It says hand-carved imported briar from Italy.
There we go.
But imported to where, it doesn't say. So
who knows?
I don't know if it was made in England or made somewhere else, but it's a beautiful little pipe.
It is lovely, isn't it? I love the
unsmoked
colours in it. As yet unsmoked, so I don't really want to smoke it yet. So I'm going to smoke this one, which I have already.
Now, as you know, and everyone in the pipe smoking world are talking about this at the moment, Sutliff and McBaron are going pretty much, being taken over by the STG group, Scandinavian, I think it is, tobacco group, and something like 95, if not more, % of the tobaccos that they used to grow or blend and sell are just being stripped out. And so I think we have until the end of February when production will carry on, and then once it's gone, it's gone. So I was recommended one particular Sutliff blend, which I have got, just 50 grams, and I'm going to smoke that in a different video. But I bought a couple of others thinking, my goodness, they'll all go. Now, I don't have the money to go and buy, like so many people, hundreds of grams of it and have big sellers. I'm still very much buying hand to mouth, you know, tin here, tin there. But we know that tobacco prices are going to go through the roof as they try to eliminate the product for a number of reasons. So we're going to smoke Sutliff Ready Rubbed Black Bramble, which I placed in this old. Well, it was a jar.
There's a beef dripping jar.
Yeah, brief
dipping.
A brief dipping.
We'll have a brief dipping in there.
A brief dipping of the Black Bramble. And how would you describe that odour?
Fruity, like Black Forest kind of fruity.
Now, the Black Forest that I was smoking a few weeks ago, just before Christmas, and then I didn't like it, and then after Christmas I said I was unhappy with it. It's actually grown on me as my taste buds came back. So actually,
is it growing behind your ears?
Yeah, I wish it was. It'd be so much cheaper, wouldn't it? So I'm going to clamp this between my knees. I
could hold it for you if you like.
Oh,
you're doing such a good job.
I'm doing marvellous. So I'm going to load up the old pipe here. And I believe that is the bulldog shape. I didn't mention that before, but the pipe smokers know what they're talking about.
The pipe people.
Yes. And all of that will be explored when I get round to, hopefully in March, April time, when I start writing this pipe book. I'm writing another one at the moment, but here we are, my dear.
It's all very exciting, all these books you're writing.
So it would be, it'd be fascinating. So I'm trying to learn as much as I can. I've been watching all the videos that people have been producing, and we're at a very pivotal point, I think, in the tobacco and the pipe world. There's been a resurgence in pipe smoking, and now they just want to kill the whole thing dead. I watched a video with a young man, he must have been in his 20s. He's into cigars. I'm not really into cigars, but he was. And he just could not understand the rule that we have here in the UK, which is from 2009. Anyone born from 2009 onwards will never be able to buy a tobacco product, a cigar, a cigarette, or pipe smoke, which is ridiculous. So they are, what are they now, about 12 or something now, 13 or something like that. So as they get to 16, it will be the beginning of generations of kids and adults going forward who will not be able to buy tobacco. Now, personally... Legally. And personally, I think that will be reversed. I think we're going through a very unstable time, and all of this will get resolved eventually. And I also think, whilst we're on the subject, that although there's the big corporate takeovers on everything, I think that is going to start to seed independent people to be growing in much smaller quantities, maybe, tobaccos, blending and small houses. And personally, I will try my best to support the smaller independent tobacco companies that are out there, rather than all the big brands that will now be under corporations like STG, because they've just railroaded through and are just eliminating stuff that people like, which is just unfair. Anyway,
Tain't fit, tain't right, tain't proper. Yeah,
Right.
both of my sons will, as it stands, not legally be able to buy tobacco, so I won't be able to send them down the shop even when they're old enough, because they'll never be old enough. Apparently,
they'll never. Yeah, I mean, if that carries on, what would at Christmas time and at birthdays, pipe smokers are the easiest people to buy for. You can buy them a pouch of tobacco, you can buy them a pipe, you can buy them all the ancillary bits and pieces. Very easy. And sons and daughters, grandchildren could easily go, hey, our dad is a pouch of your favourite whatever. But not if they can't buy it. And it's very unfair.
not that I intend to send my sons to go and pick up tobacco for me at all, but well, my grandmother, she'd go off and pop down the shop to buy her father some tobacco when he'd gotten home from a hard day's work, and he'd forgotten his tobacco on the way home. It's ridiculous.
Anyway, this is very lovely tobacco, I have to say. It's very nice. It's I've smoked it just a couple of times before doing it today, so it's not the very first time, and in this pipe. And it's quite nice and long-lasting. Takes a little bit of getting it going because it's quite chunky, chopped up rather than... It said ready rubbed, didn't it? But
it did, but I did have to try and rub a bit more.
But it's not like ribbon thread, which was the Kendall... What was the one I had before? The Kendall...
Exclusive.
Exclusive, which was very nice, very mild. I do like, and I do look for, a bit of a nicotine kick. Not too quickly, because if I get too much too quickly, I get a bit giddy. But I do like a little bit of that because it's the nicotine, which is primarily why I smoke the pipe. Because, and I know I'm repeating myself here in things, we've learnt new things about nicotine which have been not really told to us. Generally, we've been told it's addictive and we've been told it's bad, and actually the reverse is so true. It's not addictive, and it's actually, we have nicotine receptors. They're in bell peppers and potatoes, yes, tomatoes and aubergines, or
apparently celery.
Eggplants, I think the Americans call them,
Yes.
and celery. The deadly nightshade vegetables, very good for you, very, very good for you. And so, now, what was that called? Black bramble? Goes well with hot chocolate.
It does.
Definitely does. So, now, we've got a couple of other things to show you. One, something we're interested in finding out some more information and know if you know anything about it. And we've got a number of these, and we might be able to sort of offer them out for sale. Andy, who gave me a number of pipes, was very keen. He said, you know, if you're not able to make a lot of money because my other channel's demonetized, this one isn't monetized, he said you might be able to sell some of these pipes. And so we'll show you some of them over the next few weeks and months as I explore the pipes. But first, if I give you that one, Andy also gave, he said these have been in the family for years. I'll just put my pipe down for a second. And these are bowls, turned bowls, beautifully made.
Gorgeous.
Must be 100 years old. And he said, I don't know if they're of any use. He said, I found them in my stuff. And of course, I immediately thought they would be great for storage of tobacco. Now, the only snag is they're not sealed, as in hermetically sealed. But, oops, I did think if you had a very thin, what would it be, leather, what's that, kid leather, is it? Kid leather?
Oh, no, calf leather.
Calf leather, pouches made up with some sort of a leather strap or something to seal it. And then you could keep your tobacco in those. It's just very beautiful, aren't they? Very lovely.
I suppose wax paper might also work, you know, like the stuff you'd...
As long as you can seal it or roll it up in it.
Yeah, yeah.
It's just that you wouldn't be able to get it out nice and quickly. But originally, I thought if you could just have it loose in there and you dip your pipe in and, you know, fill it up, it would be brilliant. But it may be possible to seal them by putting some rubber around here, so that it does actually seal them. Excuse me. They were actually turned into lamp holders, apparently.
Yeah.
So
base of lamp.
There's some screw holes here which could easily be filled and sealed up, or a little knob put on as to
help you lift it
up. So there's a little bit of interest in that, and that would be lovely. I'd like to explore to see if I could make that more sealable.
I think that was a very clever thing to turn them into lamp holders or lamp stands, because no one would think that in the base of your lamp you might have some stuff stashed.
Yes, your tobacco stashed in there underneath.
Anyway, they're lovely, aren't they?
So thank you, Andy.
Again.
People have been so good. Just a quick puff of the pipe before we move on to the next thing. We won't keep you too long in this episode. The question is, have you found the best tobacco, you know, your favourite tobacco? If things were going all pear-shaped, as they do seem to be in the industry a little bit, but if they were, what would be the tobacco that you, if you could, you would buy a massive great sack of it and just store it? Have you got one? I'd love to know in the comments what your favourite of all time tobacco is that you couldn't do without. I have yet to find that. Although one of the ones I do like is by Ashton, and it's called Guilty Pleasure. There's just something about that one that really, and when I looked on my smoking shop, .co.uk, they'd sold out.
Drat.
So, anyway, right.
For me, it's almost any of the black cherries. I love the black cherry. But Connemara Black and Guilty Pleasure is a very nice one. This one has a lovely room note, I've noticed.
Yes, and it's funny, isn't it? When you smoke something, you don't always get the room note, and then you go out the room, and you come back and you go,
that smells nice.
Who's been smoking in here? That was lovely. Was that the same thing as I was smoking? So I find that quite curious, really. Let's get some smoke going and then...
I'm such an infrequent pipe smoker, really, that I still feel a little clumsy with it.
Do you?
You look natural.
I must have been...
Like you were born with a pipe in your mouth.
And I'm hoping that either next time or the time after that, I will be able to find some old cine footage from when would it be? 1978, of me when I'm around 15, 16, I suppose. And I was into Super 8 filmmaking, and I made a film called Him and His Pipe. And I'm looking for the little bit of footage that I did transfer, I'm sure, onto digital, that I could play in to show you me as a very young man smoking a pipe in a little film. And I think I've always had that. And I don't know whether you believe in reincarnation and those sort of things, but I think in a previous life, as perhaps a farm labourer, all of that sort of world appeals to me. I probably was a pipe smoker, maybe a briar one, or probably more likely a clay pipe smoker.
Yes, they were much more common and easily obtainable.
Right, so
Hence, you picked up a lot of them in the farm fields.
when
as
I was
a
a kid, when I was at that age, yeah, I used to live very near a farm that over time it was abandoned, funnily enough, and then now it's been sold off and built on, which is absolutely despicable. But so my childhood has been obliterated, and I've actually made a video about that on the other channel many years ago. And when playing as a kid, you'd run over the fields and constantly pick up the stems, the broken stems from clay pipes, and sometimes the bowls as well. And you could picture the ploughman with his horse going up and down with his pipe. Oh, it's snapped. Oh well, chuck that away, and what have you, until he gets to the end and then
Chuck the rest.
tosses that away. They must have been very cheap and easy to make. So, and there are videos, of course, of people doing it. Now, talking of pipes, I'm going to show you an unusual pipe that I've never seen the like of which before, and I'd love to know if you have and what you could tell us about it. So, as you can see, it's a pipe with what looks like a plastic stem of some description, a metal, what looks like aluminium shank, and then a bowl. But the weird part of it is, and I'll take close-up pictures, is this shank goes right the way through, and you might think, well, that's a bit strange, with a stopper. But when you look down the bowl, which I know you can't see from here, but when you do look down the bowl, the metal shank has two slits in it, which enables it to draw the smoke. And presumably it's kind of acting as a filter. Now, this must be from the 1970s, and I've got quite a few of these actually given to me from Andy, and I would love to know if anybody knows anything about them, has got them, knows any more, or even wants one, because they don't really do anything for me because of the bit that comes out the end, but they might do for one of you.
They don't appeal to us, but they might appeal to someone.
Exactly. And so if you've got any interest in it or know any information about it, we'd love to know. And as I say, we've got some so that we could, sell them off cheaply, just to cover costs and things. But this one does look, I suppose, a bit like a bulldog on this bit. It's got the sort of classic signs, but very unusual. And I know people collect pipes, so we thought we'd show you that. We've got probably half a dozen of these. So very odd indeed.
Intriguing.
So, yeah. So, really, it's a big thanks to Andy. And Andy was telling me a story. I think it was his uncle and his great-great-grandfather were running a business that sold tobacco products. And he says he was told, or he's got memory of, or he's got a picture of, I can't remember now what he said exactly, and Andy, forgive me if I'm cocking this up, in which his great-great-great-grandfather, somewhere like 1830s, 1840s, with a horse and cart, were taking these products around the country, awesome, selling them. And, pipes, tobacco, and all the other bits and pieces that you can possibly think of.
All the paraphernalia.
It's such a lovely... I know some people call it a hobby. I don't really think of it as a hobby. I think it was more of a lifestyle. It's a pipe to me becomes an extended part of you. And smoking it and the pleasure and the slowing down, all the things that we normally talk about, becomes part of your personality. And I think it is definitely an extension of you. And it's got such a wonderful history. And it's given people so much pleasure. And it's a real shame that the governments are, at this moment, thinking of trying to get shot of it. I don't think it will go. I think it's much more powerful than that. And we will hang on to it. I have a very positive outlook on the future, even though we're in quite shocking times.
Interesting times.
So anyway, thank you so much for watching. Thank you, Julia, for being in this one.
Thank you very much for inviting me.
We might need another log on the fire in a minute, I think.
Yes.
Slowly going out.
The cat has settled down.
Oh, you can't see the cat. I'll try and take a picture. So, thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.